De flesta av oss kommer ihåg när den brittiska Madeleine McCanns 4 år försvann från familjens hotellrum på deras semester i Portugal. En fullständigt vidrig mardröm för vilken förälder som helst. Bara tanken får det att bränna av stress i hela kroppen. Madeleine var tillsammans med sina yngre tvillingsyskon och med sina föräldrar på Praia da Luz vid Algarvekusten i Portugal. Ett väldigt populärt resmål. Föräldrarna har berättat att de åt middag med bekanta på hotellets restaurang och turades om att titta till barnen. Men att när de kom tillbaka till rummet efter middagen så upptäckte de att Madeleine var bortrövad. Det har gått 5 år sedan Madeleine försvann. Föräldrarna letar fortfarande och i onsdags så träffade vår reporter Annika Widebeck paret McCanns.
Hi Jerry.
I'm Annika. Hi.
Nice to meet you.
I don't think you can give up. Even when we've been exhausted to the point of saying, I just want this to end, you go to bed, you get up the next day and you think, she's still missing, we still need to find her. And I think most parents understand that.
I mean, I feel she's out there. I feel that there's more to come. I just need it to be soon.
Det var några dagar före hennes 4-årsdag. Madeleine McCann sov på hotellrummet med sina båda småsyskon medan mamma och pappa satt nedanför på områdets utomhusrestaurang med sina vänner, vars barn i samma åldrar också sov. En gång i kvarten kollades barnen så att ingen hade vaknat och plötsligt hade det otänkbara hänt. Ett öppet fönster och en tom säng.
How convinced are you that she is still alive then?
Well, I try to look at it as logically as possible. What we do know is that there's no evidence at all to suggest that Madeleine's dead, and that means there's a good chance that she's alive, and as a parent I couldn't accept that she was dead without irrefutable evidence that she is. So,
And I think we do know of so many cases now of children who have been abducted and have, been away for years and sometimes decades.
Like when you're walking in like a Swedish beautiful weather, and do you think about now at this very second she can be someplace and wonder about where?
I do. It's funny you mentioned about the weather, because it's days like this and I think, oh, what a lovely day, and that's when I think, but this would be a lovelier day if Madeleine was here. I try not to speculate too much. I mean, I really don't know where she is. All I hope for is that whoever's with her is looking after her and that she's happy. And even that is sad, because the thought of her being happy with somebody else when she should be with us and being happy, and there's no doubt that a child's best place is with their family.
And she's soon turning 9 now, right?
Yeah, she'll be 9 on the 12th of May. Yeah.
So do you think about how she could look like now?
we do, and Amelie is only 20 months younger than Madeleine, so we've seen the twins go past the age that Madeleine was taken at. We see our best friend at school, and you can't help but think what she would look like, and clearly the developmental stages of the kids and the reading and writing and doing all the things that you assumed that you would have been doing with Madeleine. So these aspects are hard, they're very hard.
I maj för 5 år sedan blev det stora rubriker också här i Sverige när Madeleine McCann försvann från ett hotellrum i Portugal. Att hennes föräldrar sedan dess blivit helt avskrivna som möjliga gärningsmän av polisen, det är det många här som har missat.
There was a very clear strategy at work that was trying to convey to the world that there was strong evidence that Madeleine was dead and we were involved. And in fact, thankfully, the prosecutor's final report makes it absolutely clear that there is no evidence that Madeleine is dead, and there's certainly no evidence to link us, to implicate us in any way. So
the damage that was done with all the media reporting, with the lies and speculation and fabrication and being made arguido. I think the damage is ongoing, and we've had this in other countries outside the UK and Portugal. Unlike the UK and Portugal, where the story carried on, in other countries it stopped. So it stopped at the dramatic, oh, the parents were involved, and then, you know, they moved on to another story, really. And all I can say to people is please read my book.
Why is it important for you that people here in Sweden then understand more what happened?
I mean, I just think the more people that know that Madeleine's missing, the more people that are aware of her plight, the more eyes that are looking, ears that are listening, just the greater chance we have of finding Madeleine. You know, people travel a lot as well these days. You know, people communicate over the internet, and you just don't know where that key bit of information's going to come from.
Madeleine could have been easily taken out of Portugal within the first 2 hours, and that's the problem. We have no idea where she is. We don't know who's taken her, and we don't know why. So unfortunately for us, we want as much awareness as possible that Madeleine's missing, and obviously with her looks she could blend into Scandinavia fairly easily.
But it's difficult because you have to still keep on playing with the media that did so much bad to you.
It is. I mean, it's hard, but we still do need the media to help find Madeleine, and I hope that the media will stop and think at some point and take responsibility, really, because they're incredibly powerful and they can do so much good. I mean, we're talking about children, you know, and trying to find a child who's been stolen from the family, you know, and use your power to good use, you know. That's all I can say.
I sin bok berättar Kate McCann om polisens misstag. Vittnesmål om en man som bar på ett barn i pyjamas följdes till exempel inte upp ordentligt. Och efter några månader riktade portugisiska polisen sina misstankar mot föräldrarna. De satt i långa förhör och DNA-spår i en hyrbil presenterades som bevis, när det i själva verket rörde sig om DNA som kunde komma från vem som helst i familjen.
I mean, it was awful. I mean, not only were we going through the pain and the anxiety of not having Madeleine with us and not knowing where she was, suddenly all these stories were appearing, and for us, the biggest injustice in all that was the effect that would have on the search for Madeleine. Because if people believed what was getting written or getting given to the media, suggesting that she was dead, then they wouldn't look at her or they wouldn't come forward with information.
You can understand that when people are fed information that parents are suspicious involved, people will want to believe that because they want to think that this will not happen to them, and they want to think that there isn't an abductor out there and their children are not at risk. But what happens on the ground is very different. We know now that in Portugal and elsewhere, people keep their children much closer to them.
Closer than in the UK?
I think certainly there's been remarkably few child abductions since Madeleine was taken, and I think people are more aware. And one of the things we've tried to do throughout the last 5 years is not look back, because you can't change what's happened. We're more interested in what can still be done, and at this minute, and following Kate's book launched last year, the Metropolitan Police are now reviewing the case and working with a new team in Portugal, and that's much more important about discredited former officers.
Tell me, how far away was this restaurant?
I mean, it was incredibly close. I think if you draw a straight line from the restaurant to the apartment, it was 50 metres. It never entered our head for a second that somebody would steal your child. It was the furthest thing from your mind. So.
And still you hear this all the time, that why did you leave them, right?
I mean, there's only so many times we can answer the question, and, you know, I've had to, you know, I've persecuted myself with that, you know, obviously. I can't change it. I know how much we love Madeleine, you know, and at the end of the day, the person who's taken Madeleine is the one who's committed the crime, and that's who we need to find.
So how do you see the future? Will you ever put some sort of end of this?
I think until we find Madeleine, find out what's happened, then that won't be possible, and I don't think any parent could. You know, it's not something that you can switch off from. It's your child, you know, that bond is too strong. You don't know if it's because you're the mother that you just want it so badly, that's why it feels. But I know there's nothing telling me to stop. You know, and as I say, I kind of talk to her like she's there and she's coming back, and just want it to be soon.